No one takes the time to educate people on how much money they're sitting on that they haven't tapped into yet. Cash out refinance is tapping into the equity in your property to use for any type of financial goal you're looking for in the future. So main purposes people do a lot is home improvement and debt consolidation, but also people help pay for their child to buy a house. They pull some money out for their kids. They want to help their son get married. They want to help pay tuition for their child's school, so it's just tapping into your equity so that you can essentially have some financial freedom. A lot of people come to us and they say, I've owned my house for 30 years. I paid it off 10 years ago, but now I've had this life event happen. And the reasons for pulling equity out of your house and cashing out is always dependent on the client you talk to, right? So a big reason is home improvement. I've lived here for 30 years. I paid my mortgage off early, and now I want to add on a second bedroom. I want to add on another bathroom. My garage needs a new roof, so over time, your house needs some work on it, and a lot of times people are pulling out their equity so they can improve their home and appreciate their value of their home. We help people understand, if you took $75,000 out of your house and you paid off $65,000 in credit card debt, it would eliminate $3,000 a month in debt for you, and we'd only increase your payment $600 a month. So overall, you're saving somebody a substantial amount of money compared to what they're paying right now on their credit cards and their personal loans that have a very high interest rate. So a lot of people use it to consolidate their debt. COVID hit and everyone's started to spiral a little bit on how are we going to make the ends meet. People weren't working, and now we have the highest consumer debt that we've ever seen in the US. So that is the biggest program we're seeing right now, is paying off people's debt, but then also putting money in their house to make it appreciate in value and grow their wealth long term. A lot of the people who do refinances with us are looking for a return on investment, right? So a big thing right now that we're doing with our refinances is cashing out to invest in more real estate. So I want to cash out my primary residence so I can buy this investment property with cash. Or I want to help my mom buy a house, but I want to buy that house for her because I'm going to pull all this equity out of my second home and I'm going to buy my mom her primary residence. So it's more like people looking at how far can my equity take me so I own another house outright, right? So that's a huge thing that people don't think about is house A has $300,000 sitting in it and you want to buy a house for $150,000. Pull the money out of here and don't put a loan on this one. So that's a lot of times what we're seeing happening more and more over the last couple of years. Real estate is one of the most safe investments you can make. And I know everyone wants to not have a mortgage payment. Everyone wants to not have debt, but unfortunately a lot of us have car payments, insurance payments, credit card payments, loan payments, and we have a mortgage payment. So when you think about it, people have to understand how far their equity will take them, and no one takes the time to educate people on how much money they're sitting on that they haven't tapped into yet. So I am passionate about my job because at the end of a phone call, someone will say, the last 3 lenders I spoke to didn't even tell me any of this. They didn't even give me an idea I could accomplish these things. So I stay passionate because of those people, the people who need to be heard, who need to find a solution, need help, and just nobody would give them the time of day. And First National, we'll give you more than the time of day. We'll give you multiple days. If you were to sell your house today, how much do you think that a house would sell for? And most homeowners have an idea in their neighborhood what houses are going for. They did a quick Zillow search or a Realtor.com search. So knowing the value of your home, really, we need to know if it's going to appraise, right? Are you going to meet our minimum loan amount? Do we have enough equity here? So that's the first thing we want to find out. And then we want to find out, why do you want to refinance? Is this going to be the most financially beneficial thing for you to do to tap into, long-term wealth? Is this going to put you in the best situation? So we want to know credit score. We want to know income. We want to know the ultimate why. Is this going to help you? And then, we go through a loan scenario with that client. We go over principal and interest, taxes and insurance payments. We figure out, is this going to hit your budget goals? And then yes or no. And usually it's a yes, because right now everybody needs some financial freedom in this country. People don't realize too, you might have a 4% interest rate on your house right now, but you're paying 25% on your credit cards. So let's roll it into a mortgage loan and get you some financial freedom, cut those cards up, and then you can move on with the next part of your life. So our maximum loan to value that we can go on a cash out refinance is 80% on a primary residence, a single family primary residence. So our loan to values kind of change dependent on property type, usage of that property, so owner occupied versus non-owner occupied, and if there's a dwelling on it, because we can also do cash outs on land. But all of those are different programs, so our maximum though is 80% loan to value. Debt to income ratio thresholds are dependent on every individual client, right? So we start at 43%, but we have the potential to go all the way to 60%. And that's in certain states. So in 46 of our states, we can go to 60%, and then in 4 states, we're capped at 55%. So it's all dependent on credit score, and then we have compensating factors too. If you have 6 months of principal and interest, payments in reserves, or even if you have 12 months, then we can have 2 compensating factors. So we can get you to a higher debt to income ratio threshold, but it's really dependent on the client's scenario, and the loan officer will go over them with that in detail. So our minimum credit score on a cash out refinance is 640. We do make case-by-case decisions. If you are below a 640, we really need to be putting you in a better financial situation if we're gonna do a cash out beyond or below a 640 credit score. What is your long-term goals for your house, right? Or is this your house you're gonna stay in for the rest of your life? Is this your starter home? Do you plan to sell eventually? So you find out kind of the intention of the client, right? Why are you wanting? The why on a refinance is huge, because when you tap into your equity, we want you to understand that you've now taken away some of your financial freedom, right? But you're throwing that into somewhere else so that you gain financial wealth. Long term, are you gonna see a return on this equity you're pulling out? As in, is your debt gonna go away? Is your overall financial freedom showing that you're saving $2,000 a month? Are you investing in real estate? It's because every time you buy a home, it's year over year, it's appreciating at 4 to 6%, depending on which city, state, county you live in, right? So really, cash out refinances give people financial freedom because we talk to them about their long-term goals. What are you looking for? How do you want to retire? Where do you want your funds allocated? Do you want some money in savings? Do you want to have more in real estate, or do you want to invest in an IRA? Where do you want these funds to take you in your future? So it doesn't really affect you when you go to sell because you've allocated money now to different places so that when you do sell, you've made a massive profit off your house now. So it's a refinance really gets you for that financial freedom you want. So long term, you have that equity now because you've paid every other debt off in your life that you don't have to worry about, or you own multiple homes and now you have more houses to sell and more financial freedom to gain so that you've returned your investments. My favorite cash out refinances to do are people who are trying to help their children buy homes or trying to make sure they grow generational wealth for their family. So dad or mom comes forward and is like, my son just graduated, he's got his own little chunk of savings, but we really want to get him into a conventional loan so we can help him, grow his wealth long term. And real estate is the strongest thing, we know it is. So a lot of parents pull money out of their home to gift to their children so they can buy their first house. And that's super rewarding because my parents always helped, they always stepped in and they didn't help me buy my first house, but they helped me fix it up. They have always been there to help. So when you see your parents come forward and they want to just grow their children's wealth long term, I love giving those loans because then you get to meet the whole family. You meet the son, you meet the mom, you meet the dad, and then their family comes, then they refer family to you next. And they're like, you helped my friend help their son buy their first house. So those are my favorite, absolutely. But also my other ones are the debt consolidation loans. Getting people out from that rock they're sitting under, right? You can't breathe. It's like an elephant on your chest every month because you're just making the minimum payment thinking you're gonna get out of this debt. And that interest is compounding at such a high rate that you're stuck in that debt for so long. So giving people financial freedom too really is meaningful. It gives me a lot of pride in my job. When somebody calls in for a cash out refinance, most people haven't done a refinance yet. They've only purchased a home, right? They're trying to pay that loan down, but then, life starts to spiral a little bit. So then you get to educate these people and explain to them, did you think about this? Did you know you have all this equity? Did you know that it's not going to increase your payment that much if we eliminate all this debt and you're going to have a savings of $2,000 a month? So people don't realize, they don't know what they don't know, right? So it's very, very enjoyable for me as a loan officer to be able to teach people and educate people on how far their equity can take them. I recently did one. It was a very challenging debt consolidation loan. They're on a fixed income. They'd retired, not a huge pension retirement coming in, but they're both on a fixed Social Security income. And you're looking at under $2,500 a month in income, right? And they were paying out almost $4,000 a month in debt. So they're snowballing, right? Your debt load is building so much at that point that you are like, I'm gonna lose my house. I'm gonna have to sell my home so I can pay these debts off, right? But they didn't realize they had $185,000 in equity in their home. And I'm like, you only have $95,000 in debt to pay off. If we took all of that, it still puts you in a great equity position. And then when you guys want to go sell or you want to refinance later on, you're gonna have all this equity in your house and not have any of these credit cards to worry about anymore. I just closed that loan yesterday. So Very, very happy older couple that just couldn't believe, they talked to so many lenders too, and they're like, the debt to income ratio is still too high. I'm like, not with First National. We can help you out with that. So it was very rewarding, and we've paid off all of their debt, and now they just have to worry about their mortgage payment. Look for a lender who genuinely cares to hear your story, who's listening to you when you speak. I mean, I would say that every loan officer on our team here at First National Bank of America, we want to spend the time with you. We want to understand what we can do to make your life feel good at the end of the day. How do we help get that financial freedom and that long-term wealth you've been looking for? So with First National, we're going to give you the time of day. We're going to find out what we can do to help you, how we can put you into a better situation financially, how we can tap into your equity to achieve your long-term goals. And maybe right now isn't the time for you, but we're going to set you up on a game plan. So maybe in 6 months down the road, you can come back to us and we can help you. So it's always planting seeds, giving advice, making sure that people know we care. It's different at First National. You're not a number, you're a name, you're a person, and you're treated just like every other person that works here, like family. And if you have questions, and anything you want to do to tap into equity in your home and you're considering a cash out refinance, make the call. Ask questions, do some research online, see the different products that are out there, but definitely give First National Bank of America a call because we want to be your loan officer, we want to be your lender, we want to help you get to the next part of your life.